Good morning, friends, and welcome back to She's At It Again. My name is Tanya, and we're about to go over to the island and make a mug cake. Now, if you're like me, you see these recipes for mug cakes, and they had me up until put it in the microwave. I am not a fan of the microwave. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that before, but I'm just not a fan of the microwave. I probably have not used my microwave in, I don't know, a few years, unless it was to heat up water to pour on something or make a cleaner with it or something. I just don't like it. But I'm going to try this one. This one is gluten-free. It's made with almond flour and oat flour. I ground up some organic oats, and we're going to make this in a mug and put it in the oven and bake it. It's only going to take about 15 minutes, so if this turns out well, I'll be making mugs full of cakes for people. I don't know. Everybody gets their own little cake in a mug when they come over for dinner. Won't that be fun? So go with me as we make a mug cake. Now, lest you misunderstood me and thought I was saying mud cake, I'm not. I'm saying mug cake, as in a mug. And this is the mug I'm going to put it in. I'm hoping the batter doesn't overflow on this, but I'll have it on a pan just in case. Now, obviously, I say obviously, if you're thinking like me, well, if it's that good, I'm going to make 2 or 3 mugs, or 4 mugs, or 6 mugs, or 8 mugs full. And that's okay. Just multiply this by the number of mugs that you have. Now, this is just coconut oil. I put a little bit on my hands, and I'm just making sure the inside surface of that is fully coated with coconut oil. Rub it in your hands, because a little bit of coconut oil is always good to soften your hands with. And this is the coconut oil that I'm using. I buy a lot of this. They probably think I'm up to something sketchy at Sam's. All right, I'm going to set my mug aside, and I have a ½ cup of full-fat cottage cheese in here. See, right at a ½ cup. I'm going to take my immersion blender. You could use a food processor or a regular blender and do that, but this just saves me a container. I'm going to mix this whole mug cake in this measuring cup. So we'll start out by blending this to a smooth consistency. With an immersion blender, it has the blades in here. Let me see if I can show you the blades. But it pulls the food mixture in through these holes on the side into this chamber and purees them with this blade, and that is a stinking sharp blade. And then it comes back out through these little archways, if you will, to the outside of the cup. So that's how that works. An immersion blender is not perfect for everything, but some things it is just made for that. Let's unplug it so I don't accidentally turn it on and rid myself of the end of a finger. That's pretty smooth. It's almost like sour cream now, or the consistency of sour cream, I'd say. This is probably the hardest part of this whole cake, is just cleaning the immersion blender off, but if that's the worst it gets, I'm good. This is also made without processed sugar. It is sweetened with honey. You probably would have guessed that already since it's me making it. Okay, got it pretty clean. I'll set that aside. Our next ingredient, I always got to lick some sour cream off my finger every once in a while, I guess, is an egg. Now, it calls for an egg, but I'm not going to use full-size egg. This is a Seabright chicken egg, and my friend has Seabrights, and she is sweet enough to share them with me, and they are fabulous. And that yolk is so pretty and orange. It means they've been eating lots of bugs and getting out in the sunshine and eating all kinds of things outside instead of just chicken food. So here's what we have so far: egg and cottage cheese. Next thing we did is 2 tablespoons of almond flour. This is the kind I'm using from someone who is allergic to peanuts. They were at my house one night eating dinner, and I said, okay, I'm going to show you the kind of almond flour that I use for this particular, I don't even remember what I made. And so when I showed it to her, a look of relief came over her face, and she said, I am so glad. She said, I can eat comfortably because this is not contaminated with peanuts of any kind. So she was very excited. Okay, 2 tablespoons of almond flour. I guess some almond flour is contaminated with peanut traces, so that's why I showed it to her, and she was relieved. I was glad I got the right kind. Okay, this is just oat flour. I blended up oats yesterday in the Vitamix, and I only needed 1 tablespoon, and I can't just puree or process a tablespoon of oats. It wouldn't work very well in the Vitamix, so we just processed a jar of them, and I'll keep these in the refrigerator and make some dessert of another kind soon. Now, because this is gluten-free, you can stir this as much as you want, and it's not going to adversely affect the texture of it like it would if you had flour in this, wheat flour, because it's not building up gluten. There's none in it. If you wanted to use a mixer for this, you could. I'm not sure why you would, because it's such a small amount. There's no mixing bowl required. It's just this 2-cup measuring cup. Next thing we need is about a tablespoon of honey, and I'm just using this kind. It's going to be baked anyway, so, but this has a pretty good flavor to it. I can't complain. And I'm just eyeballing my tablespoon of honey. Need a little bit of almond extract. Almond extract goes a long way, and it calls for half a teaspoon, but that is kind of frightening to me, so I'm just going to use a little bit less than that. Oh, I forgot to get out my baking powder. I need half a teaspoon of baking powder. Okay, this is 1/4 of a teaspoon, so I'll use 2 of these. Not baking soda, baking powder. See, baking powder. Give that a stir. And we need just a little bit of salt. We need about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, so I get about half of one of these because this is 1/4 of a teaspoon. Because sweet items, like desserts, obviously, are nice, but if it doesn't have the right balance of salt to it, it's almost like a sweet that you can't get out of your mouth, and it's not enjoyable at all. So, oh, that smells nice. Anytime I smell almond extract, it reminds me of my grandma making petafores. She used to make all kinds of desserts for people in her small town that she lived in, and my favorite thing that she made was petafores because she would place them in the freezer, and when my sister and I would go to visit, we'd head for that freezer and dig out frozen petafores so we could let them thaw and have them after dinner. They'd be so good. Oh my goodness, they were good. Okay, we're just going to pour this mixture in our mug. I'll let you see that. I may have gotten a mug that was too small. Who knows? If it rises very much, I'm in big trouble. But we shall see. All right, I'm going to put a few, these are just chopped toasted almonds. I'm going to put them on the top. I don't put nuts in desserts simply because they get steamed and just the texture is more of something kind of rubbery. So we're going to put our mug on this in case it overflows. I'm expecting anything. We're going to put it in the oven, and we have our oven preheated already right now. Oh, sorry. We have our oven preheated to 350, so we're going to put that in there. And I'll set our timer for 12 to 15 minutes. I'll set it for 12, see what it looks like. It'll probably be overflowing in the pan, but we can always add more time to it. So we'll add about 3 minutes to it if it's not quite done. So we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, we're back. Let's see. I put it in there for 12 minutes, then I added 3 minutes to it, and it still did not look done, so I added 5 minutes to it. And honestly, I don't know if it's done yet because I don't normally cook with oatmeal and almond flour. That's just not part of my protocol normally, but I'm gonna have to let it sit and cool off. But I wanna show it to you. Call me a psychic. I knew this was gonna happen. So, a larger mug would be one of the recommendations I would have at this point, because I'm an expert, of course, on these now that I've made one. A larger mug, but it actually, well, the pan's too hot for me to pick it up really for a long time, but it didn't get on the pan. But it's not jiggly, so, but it still smells really, really good. I'm going to let this cool off a bit, and then I'm going to drizzle just a little bit more honey on the top, because that's what the recipe calls for. But in the first comment, I'll try to make it the first comment. We don't usually have too many comments on our videos unless it's something that's like controversial, and then they just go on and on. It's so silly. But I would welcome your comments, of course, but I'll let you know what this is like, and I'll be truthfully, almost bluntly honest about the texture and the taste and what I think about it and if it was worth it. So I will put the recipe in the description. And as always, we look forward to sharing something again with you real soon. I want to give you one more look at it. And this is our mug cake. But it is gluten-free. And it has no processed sugar in it. And the smell just makes me happy because it makes me think of my mom. So thanks for watching as always. And again, we look forward to sharing something again with you real soon. Bye guys.